What is going on, guys, and welcome back to the Far Cry 5 show. When I say welcome back, I mean welcome to, because this is the beginning. Today I might sound a little bit different because I am full on germied up pretty much. I just have a cold pretty much, so that's why I probably sound a little bit different. Some of you guys might know what these videos are about to be. It's the beginning. We're going to be doing this all the way up until the release date, one video a week, where we talk about awesome topics about Far Cry 5 and ideas on things that you might want to see in the game pretty much make an appearance. So if you have a cool idea, then drop it in the comment section below, or if you have a topic you want me to talk about in the next video, then drop that in the comment section below. As you probably are aware, the ones that get the most thumbs up are the ones that are more likely to make an appearance in the next episode. But if you are excited for Far Cry 5, I mean, drop a like on this video, because I definitely am. So today, I want to talk about a few different things. First of all, the gameplay we've seen overall. Secondly, pretty much why I take back my words on certain things, hence, like for example the other week about the delay and me potentially saying this is not a good thing, the bad media around the game, and pretty much why it's gonna be, in my opinion, one of the greatest Far Cry games. Now, first of all, if you guys don't know about the bad media that I'm talking about, it's about the petition that was going around to try and cancel Far Cry 5 due to the whole story and the genre it's in, and you know, like white Americans, like literally quote unquote, I say that, okay? This was a legit petition and it was going around. It genuinely picked up quite a couple of thousand signatures, not gonna lie. Everyone, including myself, got pretty scared for this, because it was like, is this even a legit thing? And if it actually does reach like the max, like I guess you could say, signatures, what happens after that? Now, as far as I'm aware, I don't think it did. I think the petition was taken down, but essentially it's bad media, because when the game first was announced, as you can imagine, pretty much because of the story and essentially KKK, you know, all of that sort of stuff going around, a lot of people were, well, when I say media, that's what I mean by people, were giving it kind of like a negative view. Now, bad media for this game, I feel, has been good media, because when that was announced, okay, in terms of the whole petition and everything like that, it definitely drew people to the Far Cry series that have probably never even played a game, and when they see how cool this game looked, it really changed their minds. So at this stage, I feel like any bad media we do get for this game is gonna be good media, more or less, because I feel like this game has so much potential, simply because it's more focused in a modern day setting, if you will, alright, because all of the stuff happening in this game, essentially to some extent, still exists up to today, and I feel like from previous Far Cry games, they do like to go back in time on certain things, you know, which has been great, don't get me wrong, but now we have a more modern, kind of brightful game as well, which we haven't received in a long while. If you want to kind of like miss out Far Cry 4 for a second, you know, it's way more modern, I guess you could say, because Far Cry 4 was a good game still, but you know what I mean, it kind of felt like any cliched kind of game, whereas this feels more like an open world action game as far as, you know, the look goes, and still being a freaking badass, you know, first person shooter game and giving you a whole new experience. And that is one thing I really do like about it, because small little gameplay features, like, if you don't know, I'm going to tell you, there is a co-op mode, okay? Now, in a situation where you don't want to go through an entire story with a buddy of yours or something like that, you don't have to. You can still have an AI, like you essentially hire them basically, and they can come and roll around with you, and even if you don't want that, you can find yourself like some sort of wild animal and use that to flag enemies down, because I think this game is going to be full of like very stealthy moments from what we have seen. We know it's going to have a shit ton of explosions, it's a sandbox game, it's going to have fast stuff, and everything's going to be absolutely crazy, because even when you take a look at side missions as well, there's just a whole bunch of things that personally just blow my mind, and I think side quests in these type of games are very key, because once you complete missions, you kind of want to stumble across new things in the game, and even in the whole process before you complete the game, you always want to essentially find something new, and I feel like this game, it definitely is going to offer that. Alongside that as well, there's always going to be something new to find, and when I say new to find, I mean more specifically based around Easter eggs and like a personality, you know, a comedic act towards the game, because from what we've seen, characters do have that comedic side to them, and again, I feel that is something quite key in games, because you don't want it to be very bland and just straight to the point, which to some extent I feel like the previous Far Cry games have been. Not all of them, but a majority of them. So it's nice to see them essentially taking a different route with this. Now, moving on to my last point, which I wanted to touch up on, was about the delay. Now, I made a video about a week ago saying that have Ubisoft made a bad move, you know, because they have a secret game coming up, they've got The Crew 2 coming up, and then of course Far Cry 5 coming up, and they decided to go ahead and drop the delay bomb. Pretty much. Now, the reason why I did say I feel like this isn't a good thing is simply because Ubisoft, I feel, have had a history when it comes down to delaying games that they essentially ruined the video game. Now, I kind of like took everything on recent, I guess you could say, movements by Ubisoft, and we all know Watch Dogs 2 was a great game, for example, and that was actually a game that was, you know, rumored to be downgraded, and I'm not gonna lie, I said it myself, because from what we saw, was really good, you know, way back at E3, and going off the back, you know, with what they previously done to the first Watch Dogs game at E3, and then the actual game itself, and then when you're even looking at it on other consoles, it really did look like trash. So I think when you take all of that stuff into consideration, you're only bound to feel like a downgrade is inbound, and that is pretty much how I felt with Far Cry 5, because, well, to some extent, a very small percentage, I guess you could say, has a tad bit of fear in a bad downgrade for the game, but I don't want to say it because I do have more faith in them now, but it's not going to be a bad downgrade at all if we even get a downgrade as a whole. Because again, going off Watch Dogs 2, everything we've seen from Far Cry 5 doesn't look absolutely incredibly amazing visual wise, so if they were to downgrade it, it probably would look like a PlayStation 3 game. So from what we have seen, it looks very, you know, simple basically. We're not being misled. We've seen loads and loads of gameplay videos on that, but if you do take a look at the previous Far Cry games, again, there's a video which is called Ubisoft Downgrades, and they talk about Far Cry 5 and, you know, before when it was showed at E3 and then after, specifically Far Cry 2 and even Far Cry 3. All of those games is kind of what led myself, and I'm sure a lot of other people, to feel like this might be the case, but I have decided to take back all of the bad words I did say in regards to that, because I have nothing but 100% positivity in Ubisoft Montreal, because they've gone out, they've done so much research for this game, you know what I mean? Like, they've added so many side quests and made the game more modern that someone can relate to, basically. You're not just some random guy. You kind of have that connection with other characters in the game, whilst at the same time doing crazy shit that essentially is real life to some extent. Do you know what I mean? Like, hopefully you guys do. Let me know in the comment section below, but I think that is going to wrap up this episode for the Far Cry 5 show here. Those are just a few topics I personally wanted to touch upon. Like I said, if you have topics you want me to talk about or ideas on things you'd like to see in the game, then drop those in the comment section below. But I will see you in the next one. Until then, have an awesome day, and adios amigos.